Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So today I'm here to do my September wrap-up slash and really talk about a couple books I'm planning to read in October so far. So yeah, let's get started because I read a lot of books. A lot of the books I happen to read this happen to be quite short, so yeah. But first up, the first book I read and finished in September was The Art Thief by my girlfriend Nicole. This follows this infamous art thief named Devon Bildweiser, who was a prolific art thief who stole about $2 billion of art. And we see the reason behind why he stole art. It wasn't why many art thieves do it. He didn't do it to sell it initially to make a profit. He did it because he's a collector and he didn't think that the art was being appreciated properly in the museum. So yeah, we really follow the heists he and his girlfriend went on in all of that, and we also see how mental health professionals they try to figure out his motivations, why he did what he did, if he can be, I guess, rehabilitated, if he can stop this pattern of behavior, if he can move on from this thieving. And we also see how the police force, they tried to hunt him down, and they didn't really collaborate with one another because he did steal art from different countries, different provinces, you name it. And it was either because they were unaware of him in the other countries, or they just didn't really want to work together. And as well, the way they were able to get him to confess to everything, and really the aftermath of how of when he was caught, how his mother tried to protect him by destroying the art. And yeah, overall I did enjoy this book. I can see why some people might not enjoy it. It's quite repetitive in a sense, you do get kind of constant descriptions of him, his technique on how he stole the art. It can feel a bit repetitive with the details of his heist, which I did find interesting, learning how he did have a job at one point as I think a security guard or something in a museum, so he kind of was familiar with how I guess the security system in museums work, as well as sometimes how he got lucky, if he accidentally dropped something, but it happened to be when people were talking, so there was other noise that kind of masked it. And I did enjoy reading that mental health professionals trying to figure him out mentally, because it's what goes on through his brain, why did he do what he did, make it make sense, I guess. And yeah, overall I did enjoy it. I did give it 4 stars. The ending, I know this is a true story, but I have to say, he was at the end of everything, he was in a place of such desperation for money that he sold some of the art that he stole. Anyway, that went against his values, and I don't know. But yeah, I did enjoy this, and I did give it a 4 star. Next book I read was Perfume by Patrick Suskind, which is translated from the German by John E. Woods. This is the story of this man named John Baptiste Grenville, who he was born without a scent, but he has a very strong sense of smell, and we see how he discovers the way to kind of manipulate people into doing what he's doing is the way you look, the way you act. Like, appearances matter, but it's also important on how you smell, because if you smell very pleasant, people will be drawn to you. If you smell horrible, people will be revolted by you. And we see him on a journey of trying to create this perfect scent, and it really ends with him killing about, I think it was 26 women for their scent. And he combines it into this ultimate scent that's supposed to be perfect to mask the fact he himself doesn't have a scent. And I very much enjoyed this. I enjoyed the commentary on human society, how we're kind of like, in a way, quite vain, and how we will notice someone or be revolted by them because of something as simple as their smelling. People are almost revolted by him because he doesn't have a smell. So they can't really, I guess, place him, like, because they cannot smell him, they don't know he's there, which does help when he sneaks into the homes of some of the women to kill them. But yeah, overall, I very much enjoyed this. The ending was something, I would have to say, but yeah, I did enjoy this a lot, and I did give it up. And the next book I finished in September was A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock. This follows these two men who live in this like greenhouse. One named Gregor, who is, he works with plants, he's a botanist, and Simon, who is a taxidermy. And one named Gregor, he gets this plant that he imported from, I believe it was Indonesia, and this plant almost seems alive. Like, it seems like it has a mind of its own. Like, when it arrives, it shuts its crate on itself to block out sunlight and whatnot. And Gregor has this idea of kind of giving this plant, I guess, a vessel, so it's like almost human, and he's trying to create this creature which is like part human, part plant. And yeah, we follow the adventures of that, and as well kind of how it almost creates this unconventional family between the three of them, four technically, including Jennifer, who initially was someone who came around to do their laundry, and then they hired her on as, what was it, something to do with like helping the plant role, like not mistress, but there was a term of it, but I'm blanking out. But anyway, it's like almost like a fun family, I guess. And Gregor and Simon, they themselves are kind of living in a unconventional, shone upon lifestyle, as they are two men in a relationship in the Victorian period, when who they are is considered illegal, as in, yeah. And I did really much love this book. I loved seeing how Simon, who was kind of like reluctant about the whole thing initially, he came around eventually, and he started to see this plant creature as his daughter. And Gregor himself initially saw this creature as his daughter as well. Like, he would encourage it, I don't know, to call them father and whatnot, and something happens, and he's revolted by this creature, and you see like them trying to navigate the whole dynamic. So yeah, I very much enjoyed this. I don't know, I just really loved this one, so yeah, I gave it a 5. And next book I finished in September was Circe by Madeline Miller, and this follows the story of Circe, who is, I believe, she is the daughter of one of the mightiest titans. I believe she is, I think, considered a nymph until she comes into her magic. Circe is a witch, and her other siblings, they show signs of magic, but because Cersei went against orders of her grandmother not to use her magic, she is exiled to this island, and really we just see her story of her living on this island, really coming into her abilities. And I did enjoy this novel a lot. Cersei navigates like being lonely a lot, like even when she was living with her family, like she kind of was an outcast because amongst her siblings they weren't the nicest to her, maybe except her youngest brother, but he did change, and we see her as that feeling of loneliness grows as she is living alone on this island, and how she wants to keep people around. Like eventually, Odysseus, when he's coming back from Troy, he lands on her island, and he stays with her for about a year. And at the end of that year, she does become pregnant with his son, and she, for reasons, does everything to keep her son on the island and keep him close. And he does want to explore to see more, and she's reluctant about that because she is worried about what will be out there in the outside world and whatnot. So yeah, we see as well how she she made mistakes in the past. Certain actions have very large consequences, and she tries to, I guess, change that, take back some of her actions, and try to better the world. And yeah, and overall I did enjoy this, and I did give it a 4-star. And the next book I finished was This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amel L. Mortar and Max Gladstone, my word. And this is about these two agents named Red and Blue who communicate to each other throughout time. They are part of this time war started by their own agencies, and yeah, we just see how the letters that they write to each other, as well as them trying to protect one another, keep their relationship almost a secret from their respective agents, because if it is revealed that they're in a relationship, they both face large consequences. And yes, it's really their love story in a way. And I very much enjoyed this. Like, I'm not someone who is a big romance reader person. I'm just not drawn to many romances. But for this love story, I did feel it. I did love the letters that they were writing to one another, the banter in the letters, the nicknames, and yeah. And as well, seeing how Red tried to protect Blue, and how Red behaved after something happened with Blue, and all of that. Like, I just very much enjoyed this. I enjoyed seeing like the way their different agencies like kind of worked. Like Red and Blue, Red's more of a warmer tone, and Blue's a cooler tone. Let me backtrack. There's a lot of, I guess, contradictions, I guess I would say. I don't think that's the right word, but they are both contrasts of one another. Like Red is warm, Blue is a cool color, like that. But as well with Red's agency, and it's this called agency, like they are very much of a math-based, scientific-based. Like Red was given every part that was needed for her to survive. Like how she doesn't need to eat as well. Like that part like was taken away from her. Blue, on the other hand, Blue is from an agency called Garden, which this allowed her to grow and bloom into herself. Like nothing really was changed about her. So yeah, I very much was intrigued about that. I just found it interesting how, I guess, the different sides of their agencies worked. I don't know, I just found it interesting. But yeah, I did give it a 5-star food. my one issue with this novel is, a few times she has someone following her, a seeker who not reads the letters, but will eat them or do something with the method that the letters were written. Like, let's say a bee delivered a letter, and the bee is eaten by some other animal, then the seeker will be dead, and most of them. And we learn at the end that the seeker isn't part of the agency yet. They're not part of the garden, so what is this entity? I don't think we got answers for that, or maybe I missed something, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. Overall, I did enjoy that one, and I gave it a 5 stars. And the next book I read in September was Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. This is about this girl named Liska who goes into this forest seeking this fern flower where she learns that if you make a wish, your wish comes true. And Liska is a witch, and she wishes that her powers would go away, that she didn't have them, because it has caused her some issues in the village she lives in. Like, someone in the village is constantly trying to find proof that she is a witch, but as well, her magic has gotten her in trouble, and there was something that happened before the start of the novel that kind of, I guess, pushes her over the edge, and she is at a risk of being almost forced out of the village for her own protection, and she tries to find this flower to make this wish to stay in the village. And when she gets to the flower, she encounters this stag demon creature named Leslie, who is the warden of this forest, and she makes a bargain with him that she will stay with him for a year, and at the end of the year, he will grant her a wish. And really we follow like how he tries to unlock her powers, because they seem to be locked away because soul and mind, like the magic is part of her soul, and the soul and mind are connected, and it seems like her magic's locked away because of a memory of something happened that is like forced her magic to be locked away, it seems like. And as well as he has this old god who he made a deal with centuries prior, who he has to deal with, and it's just dealing with these obstacles really. And overall, like, I can see people enjoying this. The writing style just wasn't for me personally. I never felt connected to the story. I never felt like I was in the story, if that makes sense. So, overall, like, this was fine for me. I did give it a 3 star. And the last book I read in September was The Last House on Needle Street by Katrina Ward. This follows this man named Ted who lives in this house on Needle Street with his cat and his daughter. And Ted, he has this kind of isolated lifestyle, I would say. It's just him, his cat, his daughter, like he's quite friendly with his neighbors, like he's just a normal guy. And one day, a woman that moves in next door, and her name is Dee, and she thinks Ted is responsible for the murder of her sister, and she's trying to find evidence of that. And I really much enjoyed this book. This is a book where it was just like, you had to pay attention to it, not mess with your head, but you see really the insides of Ted's mind, the complexities of it. You see how Ted, like, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't think the mental illness that he has is like stated anywhere, or it's really mentioned in the synopsis, so I don't want to spoil it. But he wasn't given the help he he needed. He wasn't in any financial state where he was able to seek the proper help. Like, he went to this sketchy therapist he found online who gave him a bag of pills. Like, it's never explained to us as the reader or to the head what these pills are, but they're just pills. And as well, his mother says that she recognizes who he is because, as she says, that she saw it in her father, and she doesn't try to help Ted as well. Like, she doesn't add to it, she doesn't make it worse, but she doesn't know what to say. So yeah, and like I said, it was interesting. It was also interesting seeing how our mind, like what our mind does to help us process the trauma we're going through, how it helps us try to handle it, try to avoid it, kind of how our mind tries to protect us when we're going through traumatizing times, or times when we're in a lot of pain and in constant pain. So yeah, and yeah, overall I enjoyed this. I kept it, and I did give it a 4 star. Now, that is all of the books I read in September, and a couple books I'm planning to read in October so far. Everything I read in October will be in my October wrap-up. But after I finish The Last House on Needle Street, I do plan to pick up Bringer of Dust by J.M. Marvel. This is the sequel to Ordinary Monsters, and Ordinary Monsters was about these group of kids who have these abilities, and they all go to this house for their protection. And it's been a couple of years since I read the book, I'm sorry. And we follow these 2 boys who, they are brought to this house by these 2 detectives who are really like out for them, and the youngest boy is said to be prophesized for something. I need to look up a summary of what the first book was about, because I'm going to get now, but yeah. I'm very much intrigued to read that one. And then after that, I do plan to read House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson, which is about this girl who was raised in the slums where want and deprivation are all she knows. Despite longing to live the city and its miseries, she has no real hope of escape until the day she spots a particular listing in the newspaper seeking a blood maid. And she has to go to the north where the nobles live, and they drink blood of those in their service. They drink the blood to be young and whatnot. And yeah, she finds herself there, and she is at this, and she is with this countess named Countess Elizabeth, who presides over this court, and she is loved and feared in equal measure, and she takes a special interest in Maureen, our main character. And yeah, we just follow as Maureen is thrust into a vicious game of cat and mouse. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about that one. So yeah, finally we're done. Now that is everything I read in September and what I plan to read in October so far. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below telling me what you've read recently. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel, and if you want to follow me on any social media, all those things are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video. Bye.